City police officers in broad daylight just sitting in a marked squad car, raising new fears of anti-police violence. We've seen the anti-police sentiment growing for weeks now. It's getting very tense since grand juries declined to indict police in the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner. This was the scene on the streets of New York on December 13th. And former Congressman Alan West joins us. Good evening, sir. And I know that nobody wants to, quote, blame anybody, but you've got to look at what the root cause of this is to try to figure out how to stop it and to prevent it from happening again. So where did this anti-police sentiment, I mean, what's behind all this?
Well, I think the most important thing we have to come to understand is that leaders establish a climate or an atmosphere in a unit or an organization or across the nation. And when you have people such as the president, such as the Attorney General Eric Holder, and then also Mayor Bill de Blasio, and you look at some of the things that have been said. You go back to the Skip Gates incident when the police in Cambridge acted stupidly. Those were the words of the president. Why do we believe that police need retraining and reorganization, reforming? That is some of the words that comes from Eric Holder. And then also Mayor de Blasio, who came in going after the stop and frisk program and saying that he feels for his son. He feels that his son is threatened by the police. Those are the type of climate and atmosphere that's been created. And you remember after the grand jury decision in Ferguson, Missouri, it was within 2 hours that the president took to the stage to give his assessment. Well, where is the president now? He should be talking to these protesters and saying that this will not be tolerated in the United States of America. We have a rule of law. We have to have respect and regard for our police officers. We have to honor our judicial system and our due process.
You know, you mentioned the Gates thing, Professor Gates back at Harvard. That was about 6 months into President Obama's first administration. And I know a lot of police officers are very unhappy with the president because he said, as you noted, he said the police acted stupidly, and then he added that he didn't know all the facts, which suggests he took sides rather than at least, you know, if he hadn't said I didn't know all the facts, we might have, you know, we might have thought differently. But I think many police officers thought that he took sides at that point, and that set the tone. But when he speaks, and when he's been speaking in terms of Ferguson and in terms of Eric Garner, he has said things to try to, you know, to put a lid on the tension. But has he been unsuccessful? I mean, is this growing?
Yeah, he's been completely unsuccessful, as well as Eric Holder and Mayor de Blasio. Mayor de Blasio should not have allowed these protests to get out of hand, as you've seen, and the attacks against the police officers. But what you're really witnessing are individuals that are allowing their political ideology and their philosophy to shape their policies under this perception of what they believe social justice should be. And no one has ever talked about the fateful decisions that Michael Brown made to attack a store owner, to rob a store, to assault and attack a police officer. You know, that's what we need to be having a discussion on. We need to be having a discussion about if the police come up to arrest you, you should comply with the police. Mr. Garner did not do that. And so faithfully, those two individuals lost their lives because they didn't have that respect and regard for police and for authority.
Now, the president supported LeBron James when he came out wearing something in support of Eric Garner. I think it was "I Can't Breathe" or something. Made a statement that he thought that was good that athletes spoke up. And you mentioned the president speaking. Should the president speak now? And if so, what should he say?
Well, the president has to speak now, and I would hope that a lot of these entertainers, we know the little video that Samuel L. Jackson put out, the T-shirts and the hoodies that we see, the St. Louis Rams players who came out with the hands up, don't shoot symbology, which we know is a kind of a false narrative. They need to now stand up with those men and women of the thin blue line and let them know that they are with them. They are our everyday guardians. They are the everyday warriors that protect us. And the president needs to reassert that. The Attorney General needs to reassert that as the top law enforcement officer in the United States of America. And Mayor de Blasio needs to come back and retract some of those statements that he has made and stand with those police, or else they will continue to turn their backs on him.
Congressman, thank you, sir. And Griff Jenkins joins us live from Brooklyn, where he spoke with a witness to the police.